This is the Chessnut Air. It is an electronic chessboard that offers features only found on its most expensive competitors, but at a fraction of the cost. Being able to provide full piece recognition at an accessible price of $199 USD makes the Chessnut Air, in my opinion, one of the most exciting things to happen to chess in a long time. But while the creators of this product, Chessnut Tech, cut no corners on the technical aspects, they had to save on some production costs through material choice. Wood chess pieces take a lot of labor and would have been far more expensive than the plastic pieces Chessnut Tech went with. And although these are perfectly serviceable, who doesn't like playing with some hard wood? And if you do prefer wood pieces, you could get the Chessnut Pro, the full-size board that Chessnut Tech is releasing, but maybe you want the more manageable form factor of an analysis set. Maybe the Pro is too far off your budget. Well, a great alternative is to pull the sensors out of the Chessnut Air or buy a set of extra sensors from Chessnut Tech and put them into wooden pieces, like these magnetic ones I bought online. So, you're probably thinking to yourself, Kira, those pieces have magnets in them. How are you going to take them out to put in the sensors? And it's pretty easy actually. You don't need anything special. In fact, you can do it at home with just some boiling water. I have boiled away all the water. Oh. So it's literally as simple as that. You just boil each piece in water for about 5 to 10 minutes, and by the end of it, you see that the boiling water has dissolved the adhesive that sticks the magnet into place in the piece. So you can then use some tweezers to just pry the magnet out of the piece. Very simple.
Two bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart cause they're not gay.
Now the magnets are out, but you notice that boiling has stripped the pieces of their original wax finish, so we will need to finish the pieces again. So, how do we solve this? We could go back to using wax, which was what the pieces were originally finished with, but I prefer a more natural look, so I use 1 part tung oil and 1 part citrus solvent, and combine together. You get a finish that looks good, gives the wood some level of waterproofing, and is food safe. Boiling the pieces in water has raised the grain, making a very rough surface, so we're going to need to do a light pre-sanding using 320 grit sandpaper. Let the tung oil soak into the piece for about 30 minutes before gently wiping off the excess oil. If you want to apply more than a single coat of finish, you need to wait for 24 hours for the previous layer to cure. Then, repeat the process of sanding, dipping, and removing excess oil. So now that we have the magnets out, you'll find that the sensors are a bit larger than the magnets themselves, so we're going to be needing to drill some deeper holes into the pieces. You can do this at home with a hand drill, but I will be using a drill press because that provides better control over the depth of how far I'll be drilling. The sensors are housed in silicone cases that have tips that can be cut off if you need to fit them into smaller holes. For the set I bought, I only found it necessary to do this for the pawn sensors. In my experience, using the 9mm diameter drill bit gave the best results for both types of sensors. The non-pawn pieces already had large magnet holes that can accommodate the wider section of their sensors, while using a file to sand the pawn holes made them a perfect fit for their sensors. Now that we have the sensors in the pieces, it's time to refelt them and finish up. You can reuse the tin felt paper that came with the wooden pieces and chestnut pieces, but I like to slide my pieces, so I'll be using low friction billet speed cloth. I find that spray adhesive works best for this, as liquid glues tend to soak through the cloth, causing stains and rough patches. Use a pair of tailor scissors to cut the cloth to size, but at an angle away from the wood to prevent cutting into the piece. Repeat 32 times and you're done. I must say that this video makes the process look a lot easier than it actually was, and I had to do a lot of trial and error. I actually nearly destroyed one of the pawns twice. First, I cracked off the bottom when trying to pry out the magnet without boiling the pawn long enough, which I solved with wood glue and a clamp. Second time, I drilled through the side of the same pawn entirely, which I solved with even more wood glue, poured into the pawn, mixed with sawdust into a putty which hardened into a not terrible color. It's not perfect, but failure is how one learns, both in DIY and in chess. Having said that, I'll leave you with a puzzle from the Woodpecker method, showcasing one way I used the Chessnut Air to better myself at this terrible, beautiful game. Black to move. This bishop capturing this pawn on d4. Now that the bishop is checking the king, white actually cannot recapture the bishop with the pawn, because if white recaptures the bishop with the pawn, the rook now pins the bishop to the king, which is a discovered pin. So if pawn captures bishop, queen captures pawn is checkmate. So the king moves to the side, and here black can actually play rook takes g3, winning the bishop. Bye bye.